Greetings, travelers. Pathalerix here, coming at you today with a quick guide on how to farm or craft or just get your hands on pretty much as much Expulsom as you want. Um, Expulsom is pretty handy for the crafting of gear, 400 item level gear currently in 8.3. These are pretty profitable to do on my realm, and you can still get away with crafting some of these, but some of these 370 pieces, however, I'd stick with the uncanny, the new 8.3 stuff. So essentially what you're going to be doing, you can do it on tailors, blacksmiths, or leatherworkers. I believe it is the cheapest to do on a tailor because of the price of cloth, but you're going to be crafting up, so I'm just going to switch to the basic WoW UI, the Tide Spray Linen Bracers, okay? You're going to be crafting up a ton of these and just scrapping them in Borealis. So the cost is 10 Tide Spray Linen and 5 nylon thread per, per bracers. So we're going to go ahead and shop for, I actually kind of like the WoW UI for this. For Tide Spray Linen, just go in right here, Tide Spray. Yeah, that's probably good. So there's a ton of this available. We'll go ahead, if we need 10 for each, we'll go ahead and purchase 2,500. Ooh, 2,500. Just to see how much that gets us for about 5,000. Yep. And then we'll go ahead and make our way over to Borealis and purchase up the nylon thread that we need and kind of add that into our cost. It should be around, I'm not too sure exactly how much it'll cost, but I'll catch you over there. Alrighty, so we're over in Borealis at the tailoring trainer who will sell us nylon thread. So we bought 2,500 Tide Spray Linen. You just need to buy half of that in thread. So I'll go ahead and buy 1,250. That's 600, 800, 1,000, 1,200, and oops, I just bought one there by accident, and 49. Alright, so now we should have enough to craft up, how many bracers? Like 250, I guess. So we're going to go ahead and spam craft this. I won't make you guys sit through all of this, but what I will do is break down how much expulsion I get exactly from how many bracers I craft. Also take into account that when you scrap the bracers, you get back a small amount of linen and nylon thread. So what I'm going to be doing is once I scrap all my bracers, I'll be recrafting with that leftover thread. And I'll kind of let you know how much I got, then also the kind of value of all the other crap you get, and subtract that from the cost of the expulsion. Then once we have all of these numbers, we can basically calculate how much it costs to purchase one expulsion, or craft, in air quotes, one expulsion. And you can basically just copy and paste that into your crafting UTSM uh, operations and crafting macro, so that you can actually calculate the cost of crafting the uncanny combatants equipment and how much expulsion that, like how much one expulsion is for the craft, since you need three, and you can actually break out how much you need to pay to craft this. But I'll go ahead and craft all these up and get to scrapping, and I'll kind of let you know how that goes. Thing I should mention real quick that's going to make your life a lot easier when doing this is basically just installing some sort of easy scrap add-on. For example, I will go ahead and reinstall this easy scrap. Pretty much works well. It's updated to 8.3. And that's just going to make your life a lot easier when you're going to scrap hundreds and hundreds of bracers. So with that easy scrap add-on that I mentioned, your interface will look something like this. And just a quick note, if you have gear that you want to keep in here, you can right click it and it will ignore it from the list so that you don't scrap it, which is very important if you have nice gear in your inventory. Make sure to check on that. I'm just going to go ahead and click cancel because the only thing I have is linen and these. So I'm going to queue all. That's basically going to select all of these to get ready to scrap. And then it'll allow me to scrap up the 9 I have in there. And you kind of just sit and wait until that next one comes loaded. You do have to press scrap every like 20 seconds or so automatically. You can't fully automate this, unfortunately. But as you see, we're getting tons of nylon thread and tide spray linen back. Probably getting about 10 to 20% of the materials back each time. And I forget what the proc rate is, but you will eventually get some expulsion from disenchanting or scrapping all of these. And it just kind of depends on the rates, but we're going to break that all down at the end. Alright, so we just got finished up scrapping all of the tide spray linen bracers. And then with the scrap stuff that I got back, I recrafted a few more and scrapped until I could not craft any. The result was 2500 tide spray linen results in approximately 56 expulsion. So that means that about every 44 tide spray linen you will get one expulsion. So if you just go onto your auction house and see what they're selling for, on my server it's about a gold 90 each. Average market value is about 2 gold. So base expulsion cost is roughly 88 gold with that crafting ratio, since about 44 tide spray linen for one expulsion. And then you just have to add in the nylon thread cost, which is luckily a sunk cost because it is, you just buy it from the vendor. So how it works out is we got an excess of 200 left over. So in the actual crafting, we only had to purchase 1,000, which is 500 gold, which aggregated over the 56 expulsion is a cost of 9 gold of nylon thread per expulsion. So if you want to figure out exactly how much the cost is on your server, just multiply 44 times your tide spray linen cost and add 9. And that's approximately how much gold each expulsion is worth. So on my realm, one expulsion is basically 100 gold is the cost to craft it, plus the time it takes to scrap and craft. But that is semi AFK. You're just watching YouTube, and when you're actually crafting the bracers, you can walk away, go have a snack. It does kind of suck that you have to sit here and press this every 20 seconds, but that's pretty much it. And you don't need to worry about only having one tailor in your realm, since if you need to get expulsion on other characters, all you have to do is craft the bracers and mail them over. I would highly recommend using a mailing add-on for that, just because you're sending over hundreds of bracers and that can get kind of annoying. But then, since they're BOE, you can just scrap them on whichever character you want the expulsion on. And if you do not have a tailor, you could easily level one up, but worst case scenario, you can use another profession and just scrap the cheapest entry level craft you can, which is probably going to be the bracers. So either leather bracers, plate bracers, cloth bracers. However, I haven't run the numbers. I'm not sure the ratios are the same. I'd imagine a green eye level 225 is going to result in the same amount of expulsion from a 2500 or however many crafts, but that is not a guarantee. Okay. But a good way to guess is just go ahead and do it. It's not that expensive, and good luck. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You can go ahead and use that expulsion for crafting up a lot of gold.